Hello everyone, this is Kip Monty, and this is a compilation video of all the bosses from the Banished Cells Veteran difficulty. This fight starts out with the Keeper and 2 flame adds. What we found to work really well in this fight is to use silver bolts so that you can knock down the fire elementals. They're considered Daedra, and being able to CC them down so they limit the amount of fire damage they're putting out is a definite benefit. A lot of us in this group are vampires, so we don't want to be taking any more flame damage than we have to. So in this first clip you're seeing here, we weren't using the silver bolts. You can see they're kind of all over the place. And I started my video a little bit late on the next pull where we were using silver bolts, and we were able to easily CC them down, single target each one of those guys down. My teammates kind of got killed in different parts of the fight, but me and Life Shatter were left, and with just the 2 of us we were able to finish off the last ad and the boss. So it's not an incredibly difficult fight once you understand the mechanics. Again, use that knockdown from silver bolts to keep the elementals from destroying your group, and once you have them down, then you focus on the boss. The boss has one of its most devastating abilities is this, and we'll call it an AoE, but it's actually like this spiral of straight lines of fire. So as long as you're not right up on top of it, you should be back in plenty of time to move out of the way. And as you can see right here, the boss is shooting those things out across the room. So straight lines of fire coming out from the boss. Obviously don't stand in them. Don't stand in the stupid. General rule for any fight you're doing. Not a whole lot else to this one. You can see Life Shadow over there has aggro. He's line of sighting the boss a lot to mitigate some of the damage. Since it's just the 2 of us left now, we were being a little bit more cautious. She tosses some fire out. Don't stand in fire burning on the ground again. That's pretty self-explanatory. Once you have the adds down and you're not standing in the fire, it's a good game. Maw of the Infernal is a giant Daedra. Like all giant bosses, you can expect him to hit like a truck. The main mechanic of this fight is that periodically he is going to target one person in your group and put a debuff on them. That debuff is going to cause that person to periodically leave a pile of flame underneath them, and that's going to tick about 6-7 times. I don't know the exact amount, but what you do is you run towards a wall, stick the flame there, and then move a little bit when it pops the flame on you again, and just spread those flames out like you see me doing right here. I got hit with it. I run over this corner. I leave the pool of fire. That way we're not like painting ourselves into a corner. We're putting the fire in places where we aren't going to have to be coming back to for a while. The fires do eventually despawn, but it is several minutes after they're put down that they despawn, so you can easily trap yourselves if you're not careful in where you're placing those fires. Other than that, there's really not a lot to it. You don't want somebody squishy taking a lot of damage from it. So he moves slow, you can dodge roll out of the way and just kind of like chain range him down. You'll see him coming towards me a lot. I'm getting aggro. Then he'll put the fire debuff on me. I'll go run into a corner again. Rinse and repeat. So not a lot to this one. Once you understand that you just need to go place the fire in a corner. That's it. This boss fight is very straightforward, very easy. It's similar to the first Keeper in that he starts off with 2 adds. Again, you can use your silver bolts to keep them on their backs, and then it's just burn the boss down. He hits pretty hard, but a lot of his damage is avoidable. He does an area of effect around him where he swings his club around. Obviously, you don't want to be standing in the stupid. And he does a charged up attack, which while it can be blocked, I blocked it one time and it took like 70-something% of my health just uh, even with the block. So try and kite him as much as possible. If you have a tank, then I'm sure this fight is incredibly easy. We're just jumping around since none of us are really tanks. We're just ranging them down. No problem regardless. See you in the next video. Keeper Emerald is a bit of a DPS AoE check. He's going to summon adds throughout the fight, and you have to be able to burn them down, hopefully before the next wave of adds come, else you're going to find yourself quickly overwhelmed. A group of us tried to come in here at V1, made it this far in, but we just didn't have the DPS to burn down the adds, so we came back later and we didn't have any problem getting them burned. What I would suggest for this fight is that while you see these little glowing orb-like things coming out, they're going to be coming at one of your players, and you don't want to be standing underneath them. So we found to work best is to stay in a group and go in like a clockwise or counterclockwise direction around the boss. That way the circles end up clustering just behind wherever your group is going. That way they're a non-factor. When the adds come out, it's an obvious burn phase. You'll see there's 3 different types of adds that come out, and they just cycle through over and over again. The third group that comes out are the Clampheres. Those are probably the most dangerous. The first one is just little scamps. Those aren't a problem. What you do need to be aware of, though, is when they do pop out, make sure your healer isn't standing like right next to one of the groups, because you may get all the aggro on that healer right off the bat, and just that first wave of hits takes them out. So be a little bit mindful of where they're coming out. Can't really think of a lot else to say on this guy. Go in a circle around him. That'll keep the orbs off of you. Burn through the adds and have fun. So these sisters were so easy, I didn't even realize this was a boss fight at first, regardless of the giant health bar across the top. They're basically just 2 harvesters. You've seen this type of mob many times before. They're going to do their 3-ball AoE colon in front of them. They're going to summon the orbs to them. Just make sure you get the orbs burned down. Hi, Kinlord Rylus. This is the last boss of the Banished Cells, and we're doing it on veteran rank, so of course he's going to be a little bit more difficult. I am range tanking him kind of as a healer build right now. Seems to work out pretty well. The boss doesn't do a ton of damage, and I'm able to keep myself topped off fairly easily. The mechanics of this fight are what's going to kill you, not the boss himself. So over there in the background you can see a platform up there. Periodically during the fight he is going to summon 2 things from that platform. They appear at the same time. One is a bubble that's going to float over towards them, and the other one is a Daedra ad. So you need to kill the bubble, then kill the ad. Ad does a pretty significant amount of damage, so both those need to die fast. Your DPS, that's your number one target, number one responsibility is killing those ads. Also during this fight, he is periodically going to pick a member of your group and put a bubble around them and float them up in the air and then drop them down. This does a pretty significant amount of damage, so you're going to want to make sure everybody in your party stays close to being topped off for the entire fight so you don't ever get caught in an awkward situation. Note that it is possible for the tank to get picked up in that bubble, which happens to me in this video later on, so you'll need a secondary tank, range tank, somebody to pick them up while that their main tank is floating around in the air. His other main ability is that he is going to cast some circles around somebody, similar to the second boss in this dungeon, the Maw of the Infernal, and it's going to put a larger circle than the fire that you saw earlier, and this will be blue fire. Right here you can see it hitting me, and so I just move away from it. It keeps hitting down, drops a few times, and it'll stay there and burn for a few seconds. It's nothing nearly as long lasting as in that second boss. As you can see, it's already gone, and that's just something you're going to need to be paying attention to. So you don't want everybody stacked up right on top of each other, because you don't want everybody to get hit by that. But even if they do, it's not a huge amount of damage as long as you're moving out of it quickly. I would suggest the group circling up kind of close to where I'm standing right now, that center part of the room. That way everybody's in range of heals, everybody can maybe help with ads when need be. Actually, I'm seeing two bubbles right there, so maybe two instead of one. Like I was on the boss, so I wasn't really paying much attention. My DPS was doing a great job of taking care of those bubbles and the ads, so I never had to be concerned with how many were over there. Anyway, I think that about wraps it up. Just keep everybody topped off for when he floats you up in the air and drops you. Move quickly when you get those circular fires on you. Be ready to pick up the boss when, like right here, I'm taken up in the air. We're using TeamSpeak so we can quickly call out things, and our off tank immediately knew to pick it up. Good job there, Life Shatter. One more thing you're going to need to be aware of. During the fight, you or somebody in your group may get a red or blue pulsing debuff on them, and if you'll look on either side of the room, there's a red rune on one side, a blue rune on the other. When you get that debuff on you, just run to the corresponding rune, blue to blue, red to red, and it'll take that off of you.